Hi everyone, I'm Eleanor Worf and I work in the student recruitment team here at Manchester Metropolitan University. This talk will cover student finance for students who come under the English system. By the end of this session you'll hopefully have an understanding of what financial support is available, including student loans and scholarships and bursaries, along with an awareness of how the student loan repayments work and when to apply for student finance. There are two main costs for students applying to university. These are tuition fees and living expenses. If you're a home student on a full-time undergraduate course, you'll pay £9,250 for each year of your study. The important thing to remember, however, is that you don't need to pay up front for your tuition fees. There is a tuition fee loan available to cover the full amount of your fees. There's also a loan available for your living expenses, and this is to help with some of the day-to-day costs of being a student, such as accommodation, travel, food, social costs, books, course materials, etc. These vary depending on where you live, whether it's at home with your parents, or whether you choose to live in student accommodation, or you may even live in your own property with your partner or spouse whilst you're studying. Typically, students spend in the region of £3,000 to £3,500 when living at home with parents, and around £7,500 to £8,500 when living away or maintaining their own property. But these are just estimates, and it very much depends on the individual student and their lifestyle. So what financial support is available? There is a package of support available through the government that students can access in terms of repayable student loans to help them afford to go to university, plus some non-repayable support from universities themselves in the form of scholarships and bursaries. I'm going to go through each of these in a bit more detail shortly. If you look at the slide, you'll notice next to the text for maintenance loan and scholarships and bursaries, there is an asterisk, and this means that entitlement to these elements of the finance package are based on something called household residual income. So what do we mean by household residual income? This is made up of your taxable income plus the income of other people in your household, for example your parents, or it could be your parent and their partner, or your own partner or spouse depending on your situation. In terms of student finance, you're seen to be dependent on your parents unless you're 25 and above. The other circumstances that could make you independent of your parents are if you have a child, if you're married, if you have supported yourself out of earnings for 3 years or more, if you're in a situation where you're estranged from your parents, for example you have no contact with them whatsoever, or you're living in care. If you're over 25, you're automatically assessed as an independent student. If you're not sure what your status is, you can contact Student Finance England for more advice. Your entitlement to student finance is based on household income from the previous tax year. So this would be tax year 2019-2020 if you're looking to start university in September 2021. Unless there's been a change in circumstances, so if there's been a drop in income, then the current financial tax year can be considered instead. If you have any earned income as a student, either from working before you start university, or if you've got a part-time job whilst you're studying for your degree, this income is not taken into account and does not affect how much student loan you receive. Parents and partners who are supporting an application for student finance that depends on household income will need to provide details of their taxable income and their national insurance number. There are also some allowances which can be offset against household income, as can be seen on the slide. I'm now going to move on to explain a bit more about how the student loans work. So first of all, we have the tuition fee loan to cover the cost of your fees. It means that no one has to find the money up front to pay for their tuition fees. You can borrow up to £9,250 to cover the cost that's being charged. It's paid straight to the university from the student loan company, so you wouldn't receive this money into your own bank account. Any repayments will start the April after you've graduated and once you're earning over £27,295. Entitlement to this loan is not based on household income. It is what we call non-means tested. So everyone, regardless of their household income, can apply for the full amount of £9,250. There's also a second loan, the maintenance loan, and this one is for day-to-day expenses of being a student. It does work a little bit differently to the tuition fee loan, as how much you can receive does depend on your household income. There are 3 different maximum amounts available depending on where you live whilst you're studying. If you stay at home with your parents, you can get up to £7,987. If you live elsewhere, so that's anywhere in the country except London, and this might be in student accommodation or in your own home, you can get up to £9,488. And then there's a higher rate available for those students who live and study in London, and that's up to £12,382. The loan is paid directly to you as a student into your bank account, so this is where it differs from the tuition fee loan. And it's paid in 3 instalments at the start of each term: September, January and April. It's split up to help you manage your money more effectively, rather than receiving a really large amount all at once. You will receive the first instalment once you're enrolled and your attendance to university has been confirmed. As with the tuition fee loan, you don't pay anything back until you finish your course and once you're earning over £27,295. If you choose not to be income assessed and don't provide your household income, you will still receive a maintenance loan, but it will be a smaller minimum amount. The table on the screen gives some examples of how much support you could be entitled to based on your household income if you're living in a parental home whilst you're studying. To take a more detailed look at the slide, please press pause now. The second table on the screen here shows examples of how much support you could be entitled to based on your household income if you're living away from home, for example if you're living in student accommodation whilst you're studying. To take a more detailed look at the slide, please pause now. So we've looked at the repayable student loans, but I'm now going to move on to explain a bit more about some non-repayable support in the form of scholarships and bursaries which may be available to some of you. Many universities and colleges offer financial support to their students through scholarships and bursaries. So just so you're familiar with the terms, scholarships can be linked to academic results. They can also be for outstanding ability in certain areas such as sport or music or arts. They can sometimes be subject specific and they tend to be a limited number. Bursaries are linked often to personal circumstances. They can also be linked to things like household income as well. And awards can include a variety of support from fee waivers to accommodation discounts or cash amounts as well. Here at Manchester Met, we currently offer a £750 per year student support package for new full-time first year undergraduate students paying the £9,250 tuition fee and where household incomes are up to and including £25,000 per year. This also includes foundation year and integrated master's degrees. The aim is to help students reduce their costs where they need it most. If you're eligible, you can choose either an accommodation discount of up to £750 if you're staying in our halls of residence, or if we've arranged your contract with an external hall, and then this will automatically allocate it towards reducing your hall fees. For all other students, the credit will be loaded onto your Met card so that you can buy university goods and services around the campus, such as books and IT products, stationery, course materials, and you can pay for field trips, sports and leisure activities, and also buy food in many different university cafes. £750 will be credited to your Met card if you continue to progress each year, and also if you're meeting the criteria of your household income being the maximum of £25,000, plus you're paying the full tuition fees of £9,250. All information required to assess you for the support package is received when you apply online to Student Finance for your income assessed maintenance loan. When making your application, all you need to do is make sure you consent to share your household income with Manchester Met, and if your parents or guardians or partner have been income assessed to support your application, they must give their consent to share as well. We also offer a range of other scholarships and bursaries which you may also be entitled to depending on your circumstances. For a more detailed look at these, please visit our website. The government recently announced that additional funding support will be available to all new and current pre-registration students on nursing, midwifery and some allied health professional courses from September 2020. This means that all eligible students will receive at least a £5,000 non-repayable grant, and some will receive additional payments as well, which are listed on the slide. The important thing to note is that in addition to these grants, students can still access the funding from the student loan company for tuition fees and maintenance loans, and are also eligible for the Manchester Met Student Support Package if they meet the criteria. For further guidance and updates, please visit www.nhsbsa.nhs.uk. There is also some further funding available for some students. So there's the Disabled Students Allowance. This helps pay for extra costs that students might have as a result of their disability. It could be a long-term health condition, a mental health condition, or a specific learning difficulty such as dyslexia or dyspraxia. DSAs are additional support available to students who may otherwise be prevented from attending a higher education course because of their disability. The support doesn't have to be repaid, and it doesn't depend on household income. If you're going to be studying a full-time undergraduate course and applying for other student finance such as the tuition fee loan, you'll be able to apply for the Disabled Students Allowance from your online account after you've submitted your main application. For more guidance on DSA, please visit the link on the slide. You can also get in touch with the university's disability support team by emailing disability.service@mmu.ac.uk. As a university, we also provide an annual support fund. This fund provides help for students in financial difficulty through a range of different elements including day-to-day support, accommodation fee support scheme, bridging loans, crisis support and an estranged student's bursary. Please note the support fund is limited and it does reduce throughout the year depending on demand. Awards are therefore discretionary, so whether or not you would receive an award depends on your individual circumstances. For more information, please visit mmu.ac.uk/support funds. If you're studying full-time and have children or an adult who depends on you financially, you might also be able to get some extra help. Dependence grants are paid on top of other student finance and don't usually have to be paid back unless you leave your course early. The amount you can receive depends on your household income, which is the income of you, your partner and other dependents. There are 3 types of dependence grants that you could receive. There's a parent's learning allowance, which helps with course-related costs if you have dependent children. There's a childcare grant, which helps towards the cost of childcare while studying. And an adult dependence grant if you're financially responsible for your partner or another adult. Please pause to take a more detailed look at these now. Lastly, there might be additional funding options available to you. This could be via parental support if your parents are able to offer you some extra financial help. Some of you may be planning a gap year to gain employment experience. Some of you may be considering working part-time as lots of students do, for example becoming a student ambassador, which means you can earn money and the role fits flexibly around your studies. And then depending on your degree, there is potentially the option of company sponsorship. This may be through something like a degree apprenticeship or another scheme. So I've provided a lot of information about the support available, but how does the repayment side of student loans work? You will start repaying your loans the April after you graduate, providing you're earning over £27,295. If your salary falls below the repayment threshold, or if you stop working completely, for example if you take a career break, then your payments will cease until you're earning over the threshold again. Your employer will collect your repayments directly from your salary in a similar way to income tax and national insurance contributions. Any outstanding loan balance will be written off 30 years after entering repayment. If you want to pay back your loan quickly, you can pay it off early by making additional payments, and you won't incur any early repayment charges as a result. You actually pay 9% of any income you earn over the £27,295 threshold. So the examples shown on the screen here, you've got your annual income before tax on the left, and your monthly approximate repayment on the right. So it's quite a small repayment amount that you're paying. It's always linked to your earnings. Some students say it's similar to the amount that they pay for their monthly phone contract. Martin Lewis on his Money Saving Expert website says it's best to think of it more of a graduation contribution rather than a debt. To finish off, I'm going to touch on how you apply for student finance. You make an application via Student Finance England, and this is done online. The application window normally opens in spring as you would start university in the autumn. Please note you don't need to receive a confirmed place at university in order to apply for your finance. You simply put down your preferred choice and update it later on if you need to. The deadline for when to apply for 2021 is yet to be confirmed, but it's likely to be the end of May. Students and sponsors, so sponsors would be your parents or your partner or spouse depending on your situation, can also apply in one session, and sponsors will provide the household income details required. You can also access an online calculator to work out estimated entitlement on the gov.uk website. When making your application, you'll need to have to hand your passport or birth certificate as proof of identity, along with details of your university and course, your bank details and your national insurance number. Who you apply to for your student finance depends on where you've been living prior to starting university. If you're from Northern Ireland, Wales or Scotland, your entitles are very similar to students in England, but you should apply through the relevant organisation in your country. Visit the website for your country to find out the specific details. Alternatively, if you're an EU student, you can find out more at gov.uk/student-finance, and any international students can contact our dedicated team with regards to studying at Manchester Met, with the details all on the slide for you here. For further information about student finance, please pause now so you can take a more detailed look at these useful websites on the slide. Our virtual open days are a chance to hear about the course that's right for you and chat to staff about your studies. You will also have the opportunity to ask current students questions about their experiences, recommendations and thoughts about life as a student here. There is also finance information that you can access and a member of staff from the Student Financial Support Team on hand to answer any questions you might have. You can book your place by visiting mmu.ac.uk/open day. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this session has given you a useful introduction to student finance. If you have any further questions, please contact our course enquiries team using the details on the slide.